So this first video, we're going to look at how to set up our database and how to set up a table to store some information in. So far, in lessons, we've talked about the different parts of the database, and we've talked about the table, storing the data, the query, searching for data, and the report, making it like presentable so you can print it out or email it. When we open up Microsoft Access, which is what we're using for our database, it will give us lots of options. But what we need to do with the database is we need to save it first, because when we add records, we add data to it, it automatically saves itself. We don't have to click a save button. So I'm going to start by clicking on blank database, and then I need to give it a name. So this is database is going to be all about our favorite movies. So I'm going to call it movies. And before I click create, I need to click on the folder, which is going to ask me where I wish to save it. So you're going to save it into your N drive. I'm going to save mine into my documents folder, and I've got a folder for St Olive's School where I save all the documents that I show you. So I'm going to go into that. I'm going to go into your J5 folder, and I'm going to save mine into here. So once I've done that, I can click create, and I've got into my database. Now, what Access does is it gives you a table already. You can see that it says table 1. It gives you a table already to put your information in. Now, the really frustrating thing about this is that it doesn't give it to you in the right format that you can make the editing that you want to make. So we actually have to close this by clicking the X, and then create one by clicking on the create menu and go to table design. Okay, what the table feature will do is allow you to type the information in, and it won't let you change the fields without going into the design, so there's no point in doing it. So we go to table design. We now get a section with two lists. We've got our field names, so those are going to be our titles for each field, where each piece of information goes, and our data types, which we talked about earlier, which is the type of data that is going to be stored in there. So I wish to have the name of the movie. I want to know when it came out, how long it was on for, or how long it is on for in terms of minutes, and then we want the certificate, whether it's a PG or a 12 or anything like that. So what we can do is we can type in the names of the fields. So I'm going to start off with movie name. Use an underscore, and the reason I'm going to use an underscore there is because it doesn't like it when you put spaces in. The reason I've not just put name is because name is used in a database for something else. I won't go into that, so we'll try to avoid using things like name and date and things like that. When I click off it, the data type automatically fills in as text. What I have got is a drop-down menu of all these different data types. Okay, I'm going to keep on text because I just want to write the name of the movie. The next thing is the date that it came out. So I'm going to put in date or released. That isn't text. Okay, that will want to come under date time. And remember, we need to select the right data type so the database takes the data we put in and uses it correctly, particularly for searching and sorting later on. So date released, I'm going to put the length. Spell it properly. Okay, and that's going to be, I'm going to put length in minutes. Okay, and I'm going to put that as a number. And the reason that I am putting length in minutes and not putting length and then putting a number in and then space minutes after it is because, it won't search for it correctly. We want to search for it and order it by the one that's the longest down to the one that's shortest. If we have text, it won't do that. So we put the mins in. If we get rid of text, so we have a number, we can't write the word mins in for minutes, so we have to have a number in there, and then we can use that data correctly. So this data type thing is all about selecting the right type of data that you want in there so that the database behaves in a way that will let us use that information in the way that we want. So the last thing was the certificate. Now with a certificate, okay, you might think number would be good because we could have 12, 15 for older movies, but you shouldn't be watching 15 movies. And that's great. But we also have, if you remember, PG and U movies. So PG is for parental guidance and U is for anyone. So I need to have it as text because I need those in there as well. It will allow me to put 12 in. It will read it as some text, but it will allow me to put the numbers 1 and 2 in for 12. When we've got that, we've got our field. So we've got our titles. So what we can do is we can change our view and go from design view, which we're in, to datasheet view, which allows us to write the information in. When I click on datasheet view, it will ask me to save the table. So it says, there we go, you must save the table. First save the table. So we'll go yes. I'm going to write the word TBL in, and I'm going to put an underscore in, remember, because I don't want spaces. Now TBL stands for table. And the reason we put TBL in is because there are these different types of features in a database. So there's tables, queries, and reports we're looking at. There's also forms, which we've talked about. And what they will let me do is name those whatever I want. And I could have movies as the table, I could have movies as the query to search, and I could have movies as the report, as the printout. Now, when I pick from a list of those, of which ones I want to edit or what I want to do, the database doesn't always tell you which one's which. So we need to have something right at the start that tells us it's the table, if it's the report, or if it's the query. So TBL, I'm going to put movies in. So we've got that in. It says there's no primary key defined. We are not worrying in this unit about primary keys. Okay, that starts to go to more GCSE and A-level work when we start to look at primary keys. We're not going to touch that. So I'm going to click no, I don't want a primary key. So what I've now got is I've got TBL movies has come up on this left-hand side, and I have got my titles. If I hover between them and drag, you can see the difference in the titles, and I've got them here. Movie name, date released, length in minutes, certificate. And all I need to do now is start typing. So a movie name might be something like Star Wars. Okay, date released. You can either click that to find a date. I'm going to put the first. It's jumped away. I'm going to put the 4th, the 5th, 4th of May. Bit of an in-joke. 1977. Okay. Now that isn't the right date. I've not looked that up. When you put yours in, you'll look it up. Length in minutes, let's say 120, which is 2 hours. Certificate, PG. There's my first movie. Now I can click underneath and I can do another movie. So let's go for another movie that I like, which is the date released. I don't have a clue when the date was released, so I'm going to make it up. You'll go and find yours. Length in minutes, 90. It's probably about an hour and a half. And I'm going to put it as a PG as well. So you can keep doing that and keep adding the data in, and then you'll have a list of movies which run across. So they're your records. Each piece of information is in a field, and you'll have a table of data which will tell you about your favourite movies. What I would like to do is go and search for those movies. In fact, by the time the next video, or I record the next video, which you'll be watching for the next bit, I will have put some movies in here, but I will go and research them so they've got the right information in them. Right, can you have a go at that, please? Thank you.